I'm glad you got that out of the way. I got big balls, big old balls, big as grapefruits, big as pumpkins, yes sir, yes sir. And on my really good days, they swell to the size of small dogs. My balls are as big as small dogs. Well, it ain't bragging if it's true, yes sir, yes sir. It ain't bragging if it's true. Muhammad Ali said that back when he was a young man, back when he was Cassius Clay, before he fought too many fights and left his brain inside the ring. And sometimes I wish I was Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods. Sometimes I wish I was Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods. I got a friend whose goal in life was to one day go down on Madonna. That's all he wanted, that was all, to one day go down on Madonna. And when my friend was 34, he got his wish in Rome one night. He got to go down on Madonna in Rome one night in some hotel. And ever since he's been depressed, 'cause life is shit from here on in. And all our friends just shake their heads and say too soon, too soon, too soon. He went down on Madonna too soon, too young, too young, too soon, too soon. And it ain't bragging if it's true, yes sir, yes sir. It ain't bragging if it's true. Muhammad Ali said that back when he was Cassius Clay, before he fought too many fights and left his brain inside the ring. And sometimes I wish I was Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods. Sometimes I wish I was Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods. If certain girls don't look at you, it means that they like you a lot. If other girls don't look at you, it just means they're ignoring you. How can you know, how can you know which is which, who's doing what? I guess that you can ask them, which one are you, baby? Do you like me or are you ignoring me? Do you like me or are you ignoring me? Do you like me or are you ignoring me? And all you need to do that is one good pair of big balls. Balls as big as grapefruits, balls as big as pumpkins, balls as big as mine. But even though my balls are big, sometimes I wish they were bigger, even bigger. Big as the wheels on tractors, big as the golden arches, big as the Golden Gate Bridge, big as New York City, big as Mars and Jupiter, big as the swing of Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods. Thanks. This is a song I wrote 2 days ago, and I haven't really learned it yet. So it has a chorus. So when the chorus comes, if you want to sing it with me, that'd be great. Charles Manson doesn't even know his last name anymore. Charles Manson's real last name was Krautmeyer. His name was Charles Krautmeyer. He's forgotten it. Charles Manson had a lot of people who believed his every word, who followed his directions to cut up a bunch of rich people. Would they still have done it if they'd known his name was Krautmeyer? I kinda doubt it. that Charles Manson made a shitty album not too long before he got a bunch of rich people to cut a bunch of rich people up. Oh, would they still have done it if they'd known his shitty album? I kinda doubt it. Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson, that's the chorus, real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Ooh, 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 ooh. Marilyn Manson took the last name of Charles Manson. He didn't take the name Marilyn Krautmeyer. If he had been Marilyn Krautmeyer, I bet a bunch of rich people, I bet a bunch of adults with straws up their asses wouldn't have tried to cancel all of his concerts the way they do with Marilyn Manson. I think that he should have been Marilyn Krautmeyer, and maybe he could have done a few more concerts, and maybe he wouldn't have sold as many of his shitty albums. But then the truth would be out that Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson really was a lucky guy. People didn't hear his shitty album. People didn't know his name was Krautmeyer. His followers never got to see him pick his nose, which I understand he liked to do a lot. Charles Manson comes up for parole every now and then. 3 guys sit across from him and talk to him for half an hour, then stand denied on his papers, then run home and tell their wives about it. Ah, maybe he should go by Krautmeyer. Maybe they'd ignore the swastika on his forehead and stamp approved on his papers. We hereby parole you, Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. Charles Manson's real name was Charles Krautmeyer. The great thing about playing at festivals is you get to talk to people, you know, and during the year, you know, you gotta play and then you gotta scram usually. So that's why I like to come, get to talk to everybody. Some guy came up to me today after I did a workshop this morning, and he said, so no boundaries, huh? And I didn't really think about it. I said, yeah, man, yeah, no boundaries, yeah, right. But then I thought about it more later. And actually, I mean, we all have boundaries. We're just trying to knock them down, you know, one by one. So, never stops, really. So one of the things I wrote a lot of songs about was girls. And I got flack from that every now and again. The worst flack I ever got from it was from this girl who said, you write all these songs about girls. Most of them you barely know. What about me? You know me really well. Why don't you write one about me? And I said, I can't do that. She said, why can't you do that? I said, well, you're my sister. It's too weird. It's not really done. And she just kept after me. So I wrote one about her. And I came back to her and I played it for her. And she said, don't you ever play that for anybody. Not in public. So it goes like this. They say you taught me how to talk. Bet you wish you taught me how to stop. You're far away now, wish I could take a walk with you someplace. You explained me to our parents. English wasn't their first language. They spoke German, hated Germans, confusing times. Oh, sister. Down Midwest backseat bumpy streets, you sang my Beatles songs with me. I sang your Broadway melodies, bad harmony. And where would Willie Mays have been without Jackie Robinson? And who can say what I'd been without you to lead the way? After I showed some guys I could drink, you picked me off the lawn, I think, and led me to the kitchen sink where I got rid of it. Some nights I laid awake in awe as squinting through the dark I saw you peeling off your teenage bra, the door slightly ajar. Ah, sister, you lived just across the hall for 18 summers, 18 falls, until you went away to that weird college in Wisconsin. And where would Willie Mays have been without Jackie Robinson? And who can say what I'd been without you to lead the way? Trust yourself, and you can do anything. This I give to you. May your heart purr like a bumblebee. May all your backyards have a tree. May you always be HIV negative. I hope you meet some nice guy who treats women better than I do. I don't even care if he's a Jew or not. Oh, sister, I remember in the temple hall at our dear father's funeral, you sang like a nightingale one of his own songs. And where would Willie Mays have been without Jackie Robinson? And who can say what I'd been without you to lead the way? I was living in LA for a little while. I was there really for the best part of LA. It was the earthquake and the riot and the floods and the fires and the Dodgers all at the same time. The best was the riots because everything came sort of to the fore, you know, what people were thinking. I overheard some people talking one day right after it, and I used it for the first line of this song. Let the niggers burn down nigger town. Step aside for burning and a looting. But if they set foot in Beverly Hills, time, brother, time to start shooting. he gets too cocky, I sing this song. Everything everybody's got in their house will be taken away next week, Wednesday. And everything everybody ever believed will be disproved next week, Friday. I'm going down to Hannibal. I'm gonna buy a new suit of clothes. Hitler never hurt a soul. I read it in a book that I finished up just this morning. I was happy and I couldn't wait to tell the good news to all of my dead uncles. When they tore down the Berlin Wall, everybody danced. But between what I feel and what I say, there's a 30-foot barbed wire fence. I'm going down to Hannibal. Gonna buy a new suit of clothes. Say hey, hey, hey. Say hey, hey, hey. The world is one big cosmic joke played on me, I hear. As soon as I leave this place, all of you are gonna disappear. Time begins to bend and shift. Maybe you haven't noticed, but just the other day a man from Connecticut admitted killing Jesus. I'm going down to Hannibal. I'll buy a new suit of clothes. I'm 6 foot tall and 180 pounds. I can punch through a wall with my fist, but I don't understand how with just one kiss you can wrap me around your finger, you can wrap me around your wrist. Everybody who has ever been alive is alive today in Georgia. As for the rest of us, I don't really know who we are. It's a mystery, I guess. I'm going down to Hannibal. I'm gonna buy a new suit of clothes. You see, everything I know I learned from my dad, and he learned it all from his. And his dad just happened to be wrong about everything. I'm going down to Hannibal. I'm gonna buy a new suit of clothes. I'm gonna wear 3 neckties. You're gonna help with the bows. You're gonna help with the bows. You're gonna help with the bows. You're gonna help with the say hey. There's a little love song to the future. The day they found a cure for AIDS. The day they found a cure for AIDS. Everybody took one little pill and was okay. The day they found a cure. The day they found a cure for AIDS. Everybody took one little pill and was okay. I slept with Cindy and Martha and Sue. I slept with Julie, Marilyn S, I, and K. The day they found a cure. The day they found a cure for AIDS. Everybody took one little pill and was okay. The people who had plotted to get rid of all the gays admitted their guilt, and then everything was fine. Everybody else said, I didn't know. The day they found a cure. For 6 months, no one went to work. They all had orgies. Morning after pills were sold in grocery stores and gas stations. The day they found a cure for AIDS, everybody took one little pill and was okay. We rented dirty movies and ordered out for food. For 3 solid weeks, everyone I met was nude. I slept with Martha and Cindy and Jake. Nobody was afraid. The day they found a cure. The day they found a cure. The day they found a cure for AIDS. When I tell you that I love you, don't test my love. Accept my love. Don't test my love. 'Cause maybe I don't love you all that much. Don't ask what kind of music I'm gonna play today. Just stay a while, hear for yourself a while. And if you must put me in a box, make sure it's a big box with lots of windows and a door to walk through and a nice hot chimney, so we can burn, burn, burn everything that we don't like and watch the ashes fly up to heaven, maybe all the way to India. I'd like that. All the ancient kings came to my door. They said, you want to be an ancient king too? I said, oh yes, very much, but I think my timing's wrong. They said, time is relative, or did you misread Einstein? I said, do you really mean it? They said, what do you think we come here for? Our goddamn health or something? Everybody's waiting for the Messiah. The Jews are waiting, Christians are waiting, also the Muslims. It's like everybody's waiting. They've been waiting a long time. I know how I hate to wait, like even for a bus or something, an important phone call. So I can just imagine how darned impatient everybody must be getting. So I think it's time now, time to reveal myself. I am the Messiah, I am the Messiah. And it's my birthday. Yeah, I think you heard me right. I am the Messiah. I was gonna wait till next year, build up the suspense a little, make it a really big surprise, but I cannot resist. It's It's like when you got a really big secret, you're just bursting to tell someone. It was sort of like that with this. And now that I've told you, I feel this great weight lifted. Dr. Nussbaum was right. He's my therapist. He said get it out in the open. I spent 10 whole days in Jerusalem. Jerusalem, sweet Jerusalem. And all I ate was olives. Nothing but olives. Mountains of olives. It was a good 10 days. I like olives. I like you too. So when I tell you that I love you, don't test my love. Accept my love. Don't test my love. 'Cause maybe I don't love you all that much. Thank you. Well, you know, that's the only song anybody requests anymore. I don't know what is up with this. It's like, you write a fucking million songs, you know, and they all want this perverse thing that they can sing along with. I ain't doing it, man. I ain't doing it. Not if you don't make more noise than that. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. There any little kids out here? Well, learn it well. They look for the missing link. But there's no missing link. They're never gonna find the missing link. There's no missing link. We're not something you can figure out with an equation. We are the genetic mutation. Aliens came and fucked the monkey. They fucked the monkey. Aliens came and fucked the monkey. They fucked. This is a folk festival and this is your part. Darwin tried explaining it. Darwin did the very best he could. Evolution, pretty theory. But how could Darwin know that aliens came and fucked the monkey? They fucked the monkey. Aliens came and fucked the monkey. They fucked the monkey. How else explain fax machines? How else explain computer enhancement? How else explain digital remastering? How else explain Mozart? We do not belong here. This planet was a terrarium, intergalactic broken home. Have to go to outer space and one day find our daddy. How else explain pay at the pump? How else explain Vance Gilbert? How else explain Moxy Früvous? How also explain the fact that Greg Brown and I are from about 20 miles away from each other? Well, that wasn't a very good one, was it? Religion, astronomy, astrology that looks to the stars. We do not belong here. This planet was a terrarium. 7 billion bastards screaming for their daddy. Aliens came and fucked the monkey. They fucked the monkey. Aliens came. Everybody stand up and sway. They fucked the monkey. In unison. Just the ladies. Beautiful. You guys. And all the rest of us. Aliens came and fucked the monkey. They fucked the monkey. I gotta say, that was the best that song has ever sounded. Because you mean it. Well, I'm gonna have a couple of my friends come up here and help me out on this song. So, it goes like this. Marilyn Monroe didn't marry Henry Miller. 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 But if she did, he'd have taken her to Paris. And if she did, she'd have smoked a lot of opium. And if she did, she'd have dyed her hair blue. And if she did, she might be alive. Henry Miller. Marilyn Monroe. Henry Miller. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe didn't marry Henry Miller. She lived outside the Tropic of Capricorn. Marilyn Monroe didn't marry Henry Miller. I don't even know if she knew Henry Miller. But if she did, he'd have taken her to Paris. And if she did, they'd have fucked every day. And if she did, she'd have felt like a woman, not like a photograph in a magazine. Moxy, Früvous. I'm gonna try this one. I've hardly ever played this one. I've only played it about 4 times. So anyway, I'll just lay this on you and get out of here. Goes like this. I'd like to be a good American and write an elegy to the automobile, but no matter where it takes me, I don't really feel any different. I got one foot in the black and white two-dimensional ghosts of Lithuania, and one foot in sunny California where the people are all friendly as they drive their Mercedeses to the mini mall and take a lunch or network with you, or drive past and kill you for no reason. These are my ghosts, Uncle Emmanuel, Uncle Eli, Aunt Mia, and my grandparents, Jenny and Tobias, none of whom I've ever met. I saw some letters once that they wrote to my dad in Palestine in 1940, not too long before they all were shot. My only link to them was my dad. He knew them and he knew me too. Now he's gone too. Sometimes I want to get next to them. Sometimes I want to drive them all away. Say, you're not my ghosts. I live in sunny California. I drive a 1992 red Chevrolet. I drive fast, and I drive as far west as anyone can drive. 8,000 miles west of Lithuania. And if I could escape by driving further, then I would, but it doesn't get me any place new. I guess if I was a true American, I could write an elegy to the automobile. But when I jump in, I just don't feel any different. Sometimes I want to dance on Hitler's grave and shout out Groucho Marx, Lenny Bruce, Leonard Cohen, Philip Roth, Bob Dylan, Albert Einstein, Woody Allen, Abby Hoffman, Leonard Bernstein, Harry Houdini, Sandy Koufax. And then I want to sing as loud as I can. Watch the chandeliers sway dangerously overhead, proclaiming Kristallnacht is over. I say that Kristallnacht is over. The only broken glass tonight will be from wedding glasses shattered under boot heels. We're not the ones who are in the museum. It's you, your curious mustache, and your chamber of horrors. Whose parents met in Auschwitz on the day of liberation. She works for a big company now in San Francisco and just moved into a new house. I have a friend who lies in her hospital bed after 15 operations from a botched appendectomy. I go to visit her with a heart heavy from the things on my mind, and she cheers me up. I saw my dad laugh and teach me how to laugh and tell jokes 30 years after his parents, brothers, and sister were all shot, murdered in the streets of Lithuania. I see trees growing tall and the sun coming up and the ocean roaring home, and I know I must go on. I know I must go on. It would be cowardly to stop. It would be an aberration to do anything else. Amid something you tried to remember for days, the fog has suddenly lifted. The haze is gone from your mind, and it's not so much that your memory finally heeded, just that you gave up needing to need it. Hey, hey, the fog has gone. Hey, the fog has gone. It's time for you to come out. No longer a reason to doubt, and something is over. Something else begins. The end of the century's coming, like a blind woman relentlessly spinning. But before it's sewn shut, you wanted to scream. Hold on just a minute. Was this just a dream? Or is there something to learn besides who got the gold and who's been losing and winning? But a century's a man-made process, an attempt to stick order on chaos. You're born with 10 fingers, so we count up to 10. But if everyone counted the cracks on the wall, yeah, we'd all count to 3, and then it wouldn't be the end of the century at all. Hey, the fog is gone. Hey, hey, the fog is gone. It showed signs early today. I knew when I woke in my bed that something was going on. Throw up the window, I wanna scream at your name. Hey, hey, the fog is gone. Hey, hey, the fog is gone. Come on, we'll drive up the coast. It's a Tuesday or Thursday, I can't remember, and I don't care. We'll drive to Seattle, or else Oklahoma, or else if we wanna, a boat to Hawaii, or maybe Japan with the kings of karaoke. Come on. Come on out now, girl, you gotta come out. Maybe the only thing jumping in the car and driving can get us is an empty tank of gas. Yeah, but it sure beats sitting around here. Maybe we'll be lucky and find our own private river valley, or at least an all-night diner where they know how to poach an egg. Maybe we'll meet some nice people along the way. And anyway, you know, I'll never leave you. You know I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. been great to be here and play here. Thanks.
Dan Bern, Sony work recording artist.
Well, thanks. This is a real pleasure. Thank you. I'm gonna do a talking blues song. This is a kind of song I learned from listening to Sonny Oak's brother Phil. And I wrote this because I've been on the road a lot. Well, my back was sore and my throat was shot and my guitar felt like a heavy load. So I called my booking agent up. I said, you gotta get me off the road. He said, off the road? Yeah, I think we can do that. He said, we got the perfect gig for you. No more cafes, no more bars. I booked you on the very first luxury cruise ship to Mars. 2 years there, 2 years back. I said, oh, finally a steady gig. I mean, I get tired of traveling all the time, you know. Well, they gave me a backup band. They gave me 4 guys who could really play. We entertained the passengers for tips and 3 square meals a day. Well, 3 frozen, freeze-dried plastic packages anyway. It was okay for a while, then the guys in my band decided they wanted to do their own material. So we broke up and they started doing their own solo gigs around the ship. All of it. Even so, I was inspired as never before way out there in outer space. I wrote songs about the asteroids and the sun and the different phases of the earth, anti-gravity, protest songs about the shitty food. Everyone said, come on, man, do some songs from your record. Well, it was about after a year and a half, I started noticing this pretty girl. She worked as a waitress in the cafe, handing out freeze-dried frozen plastic packages of cappuccino. We fell madly in love. She insisted that I give up my music for something more stable. I said, it's not like I can go anyplace. We broke up. She married my old drummer who agreed to give up his music to install solar panels in the cafeteria there. I was heartbroken. Wrote a bunch of songs about being heartbroken. Everybody said, play some songs from your record. By the time we finally got to Mars, I was sick of the whole bit. I went outside, I touched the ground, I grabbed some rocks, that was about it. I couldn't wait to get back to Falcon Ridge. Someplace with some vibe, some mood to it, some porta potties. I mean, I don't care what NASA says, Mars has no atmosphere. Well, then I got back to the Earth. My booking agent called up. He said, Dan, I hope that Mars is lots of fun. I said, you can shove it up your anus, man. He said, Uranus? I've been meaning to talk to you about Uranus. I can get you 5 nights on, 2 nights off, opening up for Ani DeFranco. And those people buy t-shirts. I said, how long? He said, 20 years there, 20 years back. Of course, he gained 6 hours on the time change. I said, can I play whatever I want? He said, of course. Just play something from your record, though. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Mr. Dan Bern. Chuck, if I take my strap off, will you stand behind me too? Can y'all hear that? I got good news and bad news to tell you about God. Good news and bad news to tell you about God. The good news is He answers every single prayer. Isn't that fantastic? Every single prayer. But God has an awful lot of time on His hands. God has an awful lot of time on His hands. And God has a backlog of prayers to be answered that stretches from Miami to the far side of Neptune. You see, when you say a prayer, it goes into a filofax and usually sits there for 3 million years. And when God finally gets to it, He takes it out and looks at it. He leans back in His leather chair, considers it and ruminates. He coughs and clears his throat. Meanwhile, another 55,000 years are now gone by. And when He finally grants your prayer, your simple request, second. God does work in mysterious ways, doesn't He? Yeah, but when He finally grants your prayer, your simple request for nice weather for your mother's Sunday game of tennis, your mother's long dead, and you're long dead, and your entire species is oftentimes extinct, or has up and left the planet, or evolved into a creature that lives only in a dome and does not require sunshine to play tennis. They say God works in mysterious ways. God does not work in mysterious ways. God is predictable. God is organized, but God has a lifetime that's so very, very long. Compared to yours or mine, it's like if you were a bug and you crawled around the world and you did it again and again and again, like trillions of times till your tiny little tracks created so much erosion that the earth looked like a sphere with its center strip cut out like a humongous yo-yo lying on its side. Well, that would be an afternoon stroll before dinner for God. In the Cenozoic age, a long time ago, an Australopithecus, that is to say a monkey, was trying to run away from a woolly rhinoceros, and while he was being chased, he wished that the heavens would open up and give that woolly rhinoceros a great big sunburn. He was not exactly sure how to say melanoma or hole in the ozone, but the sentiment was there and the prayer was there. And you say God works in mysterious ways. No, God does not work in mysterious ways. It's just that God has an awful lot of time on His hands. God has an awful lot of his hand. And incidentally, if you think God is old, you ought to see his parents living down in Florida. God has an awful lot of time on his hands. God has an awful lot of time. Well, this is I guess a songwriter's workshop. There isn't a theme exactly, but we're all songwriters here. So I guess I wanted to touch on one aspect of songwriting, or talk about it for a second, and that's the subject of profanity. You know, sometimes people use it in songs and in poems and whatever. Obviously, I use it sometimes. It creeps into my songs now and then. But what I wanted to say was, when I do it, I try to do it to paint a certain picture that maybe if I skirted it a little bit different, it wouldn't be quite the same, or for certain, make a certain point or something, I guess. Anyway, I realize it offends some people. I just want to say, I don't do it with the intention of offending you, but if you are, I'm sorry. All right, now I'll play a song. This is a Woody Guthrie song that I rewrote a couple of years ago. I got just a little more guitar too. On the 19th day of April in 1995, there was the worst car bombing. Near 200 people died in Oklahoma City on Wednesday, 9 o'clock. They struck the federal building, took out near half a block. They thought it was an earthquake, made trees and light poles bend, and folks thought they were seeing the world come to an end. They blew the building open and blew folks' lives apart. Firefighters mumbling and wondering where to start. They rushed out some survivors, but soon could only cry, and place the dead in caskets and ask the dear Lord why. Prayers for the missing, for daughters and for sons. Prayers for the souls of those who'd never heard of one. Kevin Small was lucky, his clock needed repair. He overslept an hour, his 3-year-old son was spared. But for too many others, the news was not so bright. One baby got her picture in the paper, then she died. The president, he promised they'd pay dearly for the blast. And all across the country, flags are flying at half-mast. Then shock soon turned to anger. Who would do this, people said. And everyone suspicious had a price upon their head. They thought it was some Arabs and got busy, some drawings and some names, and everyone was looking for someone else to blame. Some 50 hours later, early Friday day, they found the man they wanted in jail 10 miles away. A so-called right extremist, a patriot government foe, an expert on explosives and white as driven snow. But when people heard the news, they found it hard to understand. How could such a murderer come from our own land? But when we build walls and borders from fear and hate and guns, the hatred turns around and strikes at everyone. Maybe now we'll understand, maybe now we'll see. Super patriots are seldom friends of you and me. They're scared and weak and cowards, and they think that with their guns, the ones they're most afraid of will turn around and run. But when we stand strong together and let love enjoy its will, misfortune can't defeat us, it makes us stronger still. Like on the 19th day of April in 1995, a day all Oklahomans will remember all their lives. Thank you. I saw the best of my generation playing pinball, maked up and caked up and looking like some kind of China doll, with all of Adolf Hitler's moves down cold as they stood up in front of a rock and roll band, and always moving upward and ever upward to this gentle golden promised land, with the smartest of them all moonlighting as a word processor, and the strongest of them all checking IDs outside saloons, and the prettiest of them all taking off her clothes in front of men whose eyes looked like they were in some little hick town near Omaha, watching the police chief run his car off the side of a bridge. Now some men with dreams like the ones I'd had begged quarters outside the 7-Eleven to look out so they didn't affect me any more than the mailboxes I'd pass. That sometimes I'd put something in the mailbox. I'd had the wind in my back, now I felt it cold in my face, and for an awful long time now you're the only one who ever called me late at night, and I never really noticed till after you stopped calling, and the silence and emptiness got so heavy. Broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the promised land, broken up in Disneyland, broken up in the plastic land, broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the wasteland. every street corner in Hollywood like some two-bit whore offering a discount rate. And I wondered how Joe DiMaggio fell. I saw dead James Dean's ghost wandering the sidewalk looking troubled. And I wondered how his mama felt. I saw signs that said headshots done for cheap, and signs that said extras wanted, top dollars paid, and signs for haircuts, signs for manicures, and signs for wardrobe specialists, and signs for tanning salons, and signs for cosmetic surgery, signs for assertiveness training, and I stopped to read them all. And every single block looked like every single block, looked like every single block, looked like every single block, but you kept driving. Everyone else kept driving, and cause gridlock is evil, and not knowing your way is evil. And those who had money looked good but weren't too happy. Those who didn't have money didn't look so good and weren't too happy either. And in a city of 3,269,984, everyone was lonely. Broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the promised land, broken up in Disneyland, broken up in the plastic land, broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the wasteland. And I watched as everyone I knew spent their lives trying to be watched on a stage, or watched in a film, or listened to on a record, and they thought, well, maybe that way I can get a little love out of this life. And I watched the best of my generation abandon their dreams, settle for making a little money. The papers and listened to the radio, made all the fancy scenes, and said all the right words, wore all the right clothes, and knew the names of the hip people. But I still fell out of touch, so I stopped watching TV and reading the papers and listening to the radio and making the fancy scenes, saying the right words and wearing the right clothes, and knowing the names of the hip people. And I felt more out of touch than ever, but I didn't care. Felt myself slipping from you. I wanted more than anything else for it to rain for one whole day like it used to, but all there ever was sun, relentless sun, hot beating sun. And everyone wore their sunglasses and walked around like flies under magnifying glass with their eyes removed. Broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the promised land, broken up in Disneyland, broken up in the plastic land, broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the wasteland, broken up in the wasteland, broken